Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day, or as good as can be expected. This is actually the fifth take for this video because there's just so much to unpack today because it's just crazy what's happening. We're seeing a massive drop in the silver price and the gold price, and really no new news came out to account for that. I could see if some major event happened that trash the price of silver, but that's not what happened. Literally, early in the morning, people just started selling. And not people, some entity just sold millions and millions of ounces of silver all at once onto the market. They shorted the market. We've seen an amazing amount of short contracts come up. People literally betting everything that the price of silver is going to go even lower. And I think people need to be really careful, both the people that are doing this and the people that are falling for this. Those of us that have been stacking for a while, we've seen this game play out before. I know there's going to be a few people out there that say, yeah, I've seen it play out before too in 1980 and in 2011. I don't see it being the same thing. I really don't. Even Jim Cramer came out today right off the bat and said, we told you so. We told you gold and silver was going to come down. And then a little later, he ended up putting another tweet up that said they're going to try, the speculators are going to try to push the price higher and don't fall for it. Basically, sell into it and get rid of whatever you got. And this is a guy that's wrong. Like literally 70% of the time. He is a paper pusher. He is in his position to sell you trash, in my opinion. He gets more stuff wrong, and it ain't just my opinion. There was actually a YouTuber that tracked all of his calls, and he was wrong 70% of the time. And when you're wrong that much, I have to wonder if, 50-50, I can understand if you guess. Literally, kids could guess better than that. Sorry about that. I moved my mouse over something and it pops up sometimes. Literally, people could guess and probably do better than his picks. So today, I'm actually going to be reading some comments off of a special silver group that I'm in. A lot of technical stuff, but it's good to see because there's a lot of people that try to invade that space just to try to trash talk silver, and it has a lot of smart people in there too, so they kind of can factually base stuff off actual contracts. They can show the times. They can kind of really just point out what's really going on. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the comments there today because I think it's interesting when you hear some of them. I was reading it today and I was like, this can't go on forever. I don't know where people think this can go on forever. I understand the math behind it, that maybe, yeah, they can keep pushing the price down forever, playing this little manipulation game, but it can't happen forever because at the end of the day, you can't build satellites with paper silver. You can't make solar panels with paper silver. You can't produce anything with paper. You need physical silver. And it feels to me like they are literally just draining to keep the price down. For whatever reason, they are draining the silver supply. And that's okay. I don't mind. I've got mine. And as it continues to go higher, it will get more expensive for us to keep stacking. For those of you guys that are fairly new to stacking, this was a gift for you. It literally was under $50 silver. It's a gift for me. I just don't know how much more I can afford right now after what happened last week and then it continuing yesterday. But the timing on it and everything that happened was a little suspicious in my opinion. And so we're going to talk about some of that today. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button for me, help me out. If you're new to the channel, I can't ask you enough to please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Literally 70% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed, and I'm trying to grow the channel, and I do this every day, Monday through Friday. I'm thinking about going back into the weekends because everything going on is just crazy, and I try to answer every question that comes across. So please take a quick minute, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, we've got a lot of good videos out there. With that being said, before we get into reading some of this about the 42,350,000 ounces of silver that got flooded onto the market, let's just take a little bit of minute and just check out the prices and see how bad the prices really were. So when you look at the price right this minute on silver, we're still at $48.86. That's where we're at right now, $48.86. That's the spot price. We still have a fair amount of backwardation. We've got a 50-cent backwardation, which shows that there's problems still. So 48.31, and as it changed to 48.26, dropping just a little bit. I'm not worried about this really. Does it sting if I bought something at 50 and now spot is 48? Yeah, it stings just a little bit. It would have been nice to have saved that $2, but I'm not selling, so I really don't care what happens in the short run. I'm in it for the long run. And in the long run, I mean, it's not a big deal because I think silver and gold are both going to be a whole lot higher. It was interesting today when it started, news was already prepped and ready to go. Gold slumps. 4 years as record-breaking rally cools. It was put out 15 hours ago. So this literally got put out as soon as the drop started, which in my opinion is a little suspicious in itself. Some of the stuff that happened, it doesn't even add up. We're going to come back to that once we read some actual questions and stuff. Taking a quick look at the gold price. We got the gold price right now trading at 41.26. We've got the futures price trading at 41.40. So there's no backwardation there. It's already climbing back up almost 1%, or $35 as of right this minute. The big question is, how long are these prices going to be able to stay at these levels? It looks pretty devastating when you zoom out just a little bit. We'll zoom out 1 month so you can really get a grasp of how low we went. And here's the thing. How low did we really go? We went down to 47.70 according to this chart right here. 47.70 puts us October 7th. Whoop-de-doo. They wiped out our gains for the last 14 days. If that's the best they can do, I'm not worried about it. 14 days gain, I mean, we're still up astronomical for the year, even looking at these numbers when you think about it. Let's see if I can find the exact. Let's see here. How much is silver up for the year? %50 to set. Well, they say 50 to 70%, but we're 50%, I would say, at least. I mean, you think about that for a minute. That's a huge gain. Is it okay that we had a little bit of a pullback? I mean, it's crazy to me that people are freaking out over this little pullback. I think we're going to run a whole lot higher. One of the things that I found interesting was when I pulled up the assets based by market capitalization, and I couldn't believe that silver, because I was a little like, oh, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. And silver's sitting here at 6 still. I was like, what? It's at 48.27, and it's still in the 6th place spot with a huge lead over Amazon, number 7, and Bitcoin sitting in number 8 still. Gold still in number 1. I mean, everything came down just a little bit. It's not a big deal. Sometimes we see stuff go down. What's negative, though, is the debt. We're about ready to hit $38 trillion. That is insane. The DXY looking good, which makes sense that it would temporarily look good on paper, almost at 99. I would not be surprised to see us climb up to 100, only because we have a Fed meeting next week. That Fed meeting, they want the dollar to look strong. They want to try to convince people things are looking good. We got a government that's not even open. It's closed. How good can things be when we can't even get our act together here in the United States? So I think people are really going to miss out on an opportunity. This, in my opinion, is an opportunity. Jumping in real quick, I'm coming back to the silver price so I can actually do a little bit of reading for you guys and kind of talk a little bit about some of the stuff that was said in this chat group today. Very obvious tamp down. Banksters drop huge payload at 4 a.m. specifically, 42,350,000 ounces. In 15 minutes, specifics are volume 8.472 thousand. That translates to 8,472 contracts at 5,000 ounces per contract. And at 8 o'clock UTC, bump in the road, boys. So it literally is just a bump in the road, in my personal opinion. All they did was push the price down so we can get it even cheaper. Now, as I read through some of the comments, I found this one really interesting. Without a paper to physical ratio cap, this shit can go on indefinitely. Doesn't change the fact that the deficit just keeps on climbing, and free floating keeps silver keep on going down. So here's what I want you to think about, what this is basically saying. This is saying that this game of them shorting silver can go on forever. And I talked to one of my friends today, and I said, let me ask you a question, if you think that. If you have a business, you have a restaurant, let's just say you have a buffet restaurant, and you all of a sudden say, I'm going to sell my buffets for $5. How busy do you think you would be? You would be packed. Everybody would come in and have a $5 buffet. Who wouldn't? I would actually wait in line for a $5 buffet. And I'm not a big fan of lines. I'm not a big fan of appointments. I don't like waiting. It's just I'm an impatient person when it comes to certain stuff. And I would wait. I would wait for a $5 buffet. And he said, yeah, I'm sure we'd be full all day long. I said, exactly. And if you kept doing it, how long could you sustain it? Well, obviously, I wouldn't be able to sustain it for too long. I said, exactly. Them pushing the price of silver down, manipulating it lower, when industrial demand is using the heck out of physical silver. It's supposed to be supply and demand. The more people buy, the higher the price. And the reason that is because it will slow down. Eventually, if the price goes too high, it will slow down. It will just gradually start slowing down the purchases. We're not seeing a gradual slowdown in silver purchases. What we're seeing is a huge beatdown all at once to try to convince people that that's natural. That is not natural. What happened today is going to cause big problems for possibly the entities that did it. And more importantly, it's allowing silver to get stripped out at a cheaper price. By the time you watch this video, I would not be surprised to see us climbing our way back to $50 silver, because they cannot keep pounding paper on it over and over again. Eventually, those paper contracts will come due, and the interest on that is going to come due too. And so it's crazy, and I probably shouldn't say interest, but ultimately, how do I say this? If you borrow something and you have to pay that something back, that entity that shorted all those ounces of silver, even though it's not physical silver, they've agreed now that they will deliver those shorts, or they will cash settle. Now, cash settling is not a big deal for some people. It is for the companies that want silver. When they want physical silver, it's a big deal. But most people just want profits. and if they get profits. But here's what I want you to think about too. This is not even as bad as what we saw last week, because a lot of the selling today was, one, the big short position that was launched, but then it was also everyday people thinking that they can short the market right now and jump on the coattail of these entities. And what's probably going to happen is the big entities will probably cover theirs a little bit quicker than the everyday people that tried shorting it. And then that's going to be it. They're going to be left holding the bag too. As you read on, I'm going to read some of these comments because it's really interesting. That's the right attitude. It feels good to hold silver. I love mine. Some of these are just, people putting in different stuff. The banks shorting the markets are going to be hurting eventually. They have been digging their own hole to get buried in. And literally, we've seen this happen with GameStop. When they shorted GameStop down to $3 a share, it was actually a YouTuber, Roaring Kitty, that first discovered it. And he said, that doesn't even make sense. They're shorting more shares than there almost really even is. And he started buying. And then he told everybody on his YouTube channel that he was buying. And he thinks it's a great investment and people need to look into it. But as always, it's not investment advice. Do your own research. As I always tell you, buying silver, that's my opinion. Do your own research. I'm just telling you guys the way I see things. It's not financial advice. It's my opinion. And needless to say, a bunch of people started getting on this bandwagon. And they pushed the price up. And $3 went to like $4, then $5. And these big entities laughed. Dumb money. They think they can control us. Look how much money we got. We're sitting on billions of dollars. They can't beat us out. But what people don't factor in is when the majority decides to invest in something. I mean, there are queues in multiple countries right now buying precious metal. You're not seeing it as much here in the United States for whatever the reason, whether we've just been dumbed down to not believe that gold and silver is anything important, or we just don't choose to give that type of stuff for the wedding festivals, wedding times, and this and that. We choose to give junk made from China, whether it be pots, pans, miscellaneous stuff, whatever. And, people just don't really believe in gold and silver for the most part here in the United States. But it doesn't stop. That price that you're looking at right now, that $48.89, that's not a United States price per se. That's a worldwide price. Now, yes, they can put higher premiums on, just like if we go buy an ounce of silver from maybe JM Bullion or APMAX or Universal Coin and Silver, whatever, Coin and Bullion. I have to say that right. I would not want to disrespect the company. Universal Coin and Bullion out of Beaumont, Texas. We pay a premium on that stuff. So here's the thing. If people are willing to pay more for something, then obviously it's worth more. But people just don't understand. And they're going to pay when they have to pay them short positions back. And it is a hole that they're continuing to dig. This is a rigged casino game. It doesn't matter. The physical is all that matters. And that's absolutely right. The physical is all that matters. That's why I tell you, you can't build stuff with paper. And if the demand for silver is coming in faster than the actual production of it or the mining of it, then it's inevitable what is going to happen eventually. And when that happens, that's it. There's no going back. Banker, criminal. Well, I got to be careful. Some of the words get a little bit bad. Banker, we'll just say banker criminals. Buy the physical and break them. So here, what that person was basically trying to say is, they beat the price down. They buy physical, but they beat it down with shorts. And right now, they are buying physical ounces at lower and lower prices. In my opinion, the fundamentals of silver has not changed one bit. They push a lot of paper on the market, and paper. Oh, never mind. That's my comment. And I was like, why does that sound so familiar? They push a lot of paper on the markets, and the paper doesn't produce anything. They need real silver for production. This is not going to end well for them. That's for sure. Just my opinion. T-Square Talk on YouTube. And to everybody that gave me a thumbs up on that comment, thank you. Or I guess they call it up, arrow ups. I don't know. What are you saying? This was done today for scheduled for today or scheduled for tomorrow? Futures confuse me. So for those of you that don't know, a futures contract is getting done at the moment. They're buying the contracts or they're shorting the contracts. It's happening right then and there. However, it affects the price because usually they sell that on the market and they expect they're going to deliver it. So people perceive that because all these ounces are going to come onto the market, well, then obviously the price is going to come down because the silver market is going to be flooded with silver. That's not the case. Literally in a month from now, I'm convinced we're going to be literally 1 month. I'm convinced we'll be back at $55 for sure. And I think I'm being a little generous saying a month, but we'll see how that plays out. I mean, I can't predict that for sure. They have held these down for periods of time because people get skittish. They get scared and they don't know if they want to really put money in. And I talked to some people today. They're like, I don't think I want to buy now. And I was actually going to meet up with someone to help two people make up a trade where one of them wanted to trade some gold for silver, the other one wanted to do it. That's a hot item right now. A lot of people are picking their sides. A lot of people out there, either they want to invest in gold because gold really didn't do that bad over the last few days. I mean, yeah, it had its worst day ever, but it's not devastating. I mean, so what? Gold went down a couple $100. I mean, we went from 43.50 to 41 and a quarter. We're down $225 when essentially we've been seeing $100 gains in one day. That's not unheard of. So, I mean, we could take that back in a day or two. I don't think we will right off, but anything can happen. I mean, look, just take a look right here. Boom. Let's come here. Let's see if I can see it here. Look, I mean, the price was at 41.26 right here. It went all the way down to $4,004, only to pop back up to 41.23. People are seeing through this. There are some people out there that don't even know that the price dropped yet. Once they get on and they see 41.23, you think they're not going to want to buy some even paper gold. But they're probably going to go to the coin shop, buy some physical. Maybe they're going to call their online bullion dealer, buy some physical. And, you know, investors are looking at this, and a lot of them believe that gold will go higher. So they're willing to put some money down on it and bet it. With the TAMP, and when they say TAMP, that tamp down, that basically they're saying with the beat down. So with the tamp down in the silver spot, there is always a silver lining. Never do we look at this gift with unappreciative hearts. So this is obviously someone that understands, and they're buying it up. I'll be honest, I want to pick up a little bit more tomorrow. If the prices stay down, I'm going to go visit a couple people tomorrow probably, and I'm going to try to pick up a couple more ounces. Somebody else said, raid. I don't know what LFG is. LFG. I don't know. But raid. I'm not good on those little 3-letter things. I have to ask my son sometimes what some of these are, like BRT or BRB or all these different ones. CMN, call me now, or just CM, call me. All these different, I don't know them. I'm trying to learn them all, but there's so many. I'm like, that could mean 3 letters, could mean anything. It could even be a typo. Needless to say, let's kind of look around a little bit more and see a couple more of these. The one of the funny things that I saw too was the Jim Cramer thing. So Jim Cramer tweeted earlier, expect the speculators in quantum, gold, nuke, ancients, data centers, silver will not go down without a fight, and that they will endeavor to have a snapback. Do not be fooled, though. Sell into it if you haven't already. So I get a kick out of this. This guy is telling people to try to dump all of their gold and silver. Here's the thing, though. He said it was a bad investment at $2,000. Now it's at $4,000. The guy is obviously upset. He did a kind of a crap call, I'm going to say. And now he's rooting against it. And people will root against it. And I'll be honest, I have some people tell me, oh, Bitcoin living rent-free in T-Square's head. And right now they're listening to that comment. And they're like, there he is, mentioning it again. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I wished I had some at that point when it was cheap, but I believe it's overpriced right now. But I don't think what they want to call digital gold should be worth more than physical gold. Name me one thing that's better digital than physical. I can't think of anything. I know I actually seen some people buy these new digital Nikes for their little, I don't know what you call it, their little online characters. I mean, people buy digital all the time, but the real item should be better. Why would you want a digital car when you could buy the real car? Which one should cost more? The digital one that there's tons of them, or the physical one? There's only so much gold. And here's the thing that I didn't even really talk about, and I meant to talk about this yesterday when a big portion of, was it Prime or Amazon payments? I'm seeing if I can find it real quick. Went down, and people were unable to even use their Bitcoin to pay. I'm trying to find the name of what it was, because it was heavily talked about yesterday, and I wanted to talk about it in yesterday's video. Someone put up a meme: sell your gold, buy Bitcoin. I mean, there's going to be a lot of those out there. One must have discipline to earn a silver stack. And really building a nice silver stack, it's going to take time. It's going to take discipline. And there's a lot of people panicking right now. It's not a big deal. There's no reason that we should be seeing this kind of panic. So, like I said, I'm not at all worried about what's going on. I was trying to find, I wish there was a way to pause these recordings, like just for a minute. I don't think there's that capability while you're recording. You're supposed to go back and edit it. I was trying to find the company that was down for like 4 to 6 hours, and people couldn't use anything. It was kind of upset a lot of people. Moving on real quick. Going to take a look at a couple other ones. One of the interesting things was all the stories that had came out early on. We had all the stories come out about the dump in the gold and silver price, like they were already pre-written, because there's no way you could see the drop and then all of a sudden you have that much time to write that article. You had to have already known the drop was coming, and you had the article already prepared, like they were told ahead of time, hey, we're going to do a huge propaganda piece, and we're going to trash talk gold and silver. Yeah, this might be a good one. Today felt like a huge propaganda campaign. We're going to read through the comments on this one, because that's exactly how it felt with me. Huge smash, along with timed media blitz. Even ZH was fear-mongering. I don't know what ZH is. In 2 or 3 different articles. First thing today. All based on nothing. No freaking way. I don't buy it. There's only one thing I'm buying, and that's more. Well, actually, I can't read that word. Silver. We're just going to say silver. he had a little more blanking silver. Barely a peep from the media on gold. All the time, highs in the past 2 years. Same thing with silver. Silver climbing up to its all-time high. And then in one day, everyone is talking about a crash, which didn't even set the precious metals back that far. And yeah, that's kind of one of the things I told you. What would we lose? 14 days gains? We'll probably make it back up in 3. The people are going to take advantage of this dip. I don't know how many people I know right now that are saying they're going to the coin shop and they're buying, or they're going to call it their dealer and they're going to buy. People are going to keep stacking. Somebody else wrote fear, big time fear. It was literally all over CNBC. Of course, CNBC has been trash talking gold and silver for a while now, so it only makes sense that they would be quick to talk about this. The statements on gold got ridiculous. I am not saying this was a spectacular top for gold, but it will likely be at least a year. And if selling in the stock market gets bad enough, multiple years. So here's the thing. I don't really know what that person means by saying that, because this will be recovered probably within a month. 100%, I would believe. Just my opinion. I agree. I saw ZH articles as well. They said that metals fall for no apparent reason, and then proceeded to discuss why precious metals were overbought. Overbought. Here's the thing. Look at what's happening in precious metals. We are burning more precious metals than we're producing, than we're mining. Silver is a byproduct. I understand people might be scared a little bit because they took a big hit. I took a big hit on my collection. But I'm not even close to having lost what I've gained this year. I'm up so much this year that this little hit was nothing. It was a drop in the bucket. Now, if you just went out and you started stacking a week ago, well, yeah, you probably took a hit and you're feeling it. I know one person picked up a bar. I helped with that deal. One of my friends asked me, he goes, you know anybody selling? I had another friend already on the sidelines wanting to sell at 54. He wanted to sell at like 50. Then he's like, I'll sell at 52 when it was at 52. He's like, do you know anybody at 53 buying? And I said, I might. And then all of a sudden 54. And when it went down to 52, well, everybody wants to buy because now it's a dip. We just seen 54, so 52.50 is a great deal. And so I had kind of helped him out with that. And then we seen it go down even more. There are going to be people that are going to regret what's going on. Okay, next one. I agree. Just days ago, shortages all over the world. They fixed it overnight. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Look at that. It was only a couple days ago. Shortages all over the world. They fixed it overnight. Also, did they fix the world's problems overnight? Thankfully, I have stacked a nice amount of fiat, 6 figures, as the price of metals climbed, and made similar physical purchases, waiting for their attack, which we all knew would happen at some point. Nothing like getting more physical ounces for their passing away. I'm going to say, because certain words I got to be careful what I say. Passing away fiat currency. Wouldn't care if it even got and goes back to 30. I would love to see it go back to 30. Stacking with fiat, I don't need it. It will all be left to my kids. I am sure the East will take advantage of the knockdown. I'm a little surprised. I guess they kind of are taking, because at 8 o'clock tonight, look at the volume that was traded now. So we're seeing a lot of volume. We actually seen it, like I said, we've seen gold go all the way down, to $4,004. We've seen it bump right back up. It's going to be funny if over the next couple days we see the prices continue to climb. They need physical gold. They need physical silver. This is not going to be the end. Also, they claim China sent 100 to 150 tons to London. So it wasn't I don't think it was tons. I thought it was million ounces, but who knows. Today, and just a couple days prior, they were claiming China had a shortage themselves. The stories are not adding up. A ton of BS somehow, somewhere. 2 days ago, why is there a silver shortage in India and China? That was 2 days ago. You're seeing people try to buy it up. And now everybody's got tons of silver. I think this is, like I said, it's a pure campaign to try to crash the price, push it down, scare people to sell whatever they got. That's it. I'm going to cash all mine in tomorrow. I'm not chancing it. Just kidding. You know, there will be people. There will be people. I actually talked to a buddy of mine today, and he told me somebody came in and sold a bunch of vintage bars. And he even sent me a picture of them, actual vintage bars. And I asked him, I said, what are you going to try to get for them? They were only 1 ounce bars. And he showed me on eBay what they sell for. And I said, I wouldn't pay. Personally, I'm not buying collectibles. That's just my opinion. $75, that's a little high for me. If a deal popped up or a trade and I could get them at like closer to spot, maybe $1, $2, $3, maybe even over spot, I would definitely take them. At the end of the day, I'm just going to put it up. I say leave it to my son, but who knows how that will play out down the road. I mean, maybe I will get scared one day and sell it all. I can't imagine that I would. I would much rather leave him a nice ranch, a nice farm, something like that, but who knows. If anything, I'll leave him some silver along with a lot of you guys. Let me take a quick look at the time. So we're at 37 minutes today. I just had to address this because a lot of people are nervous. A lot of people are feeling like, oh, my word, is it going to get crushed back down? I don't see it. I really don't. And I know some people out there are going to say, oh, that's because you make a living off of silver. I don't make a living off of silver, first of all. I do make money off YouTube, but I'm retired military. And the money I make off YouTube, I'm going to make if I'm here talking about silver, if I'm here talking about my chickens, my homestead, my garden, just going out shooting videos. That's why I push the short videos, and when I make the short videos, I make them of different topics, even though a lot of the time I do shorts on coins because it's important to me that people understand what's going on. I mean, here you got a fudge video. This was just a place. This is actually a place that I stop at because they give. One of my buddies teases me. He's like, do you really stop and get free fudge samples all the time when you drive by? I said, yeah. Every time I go in the store, I'm like, oh, let me get a sample of that. Let me get a sample. The truth is, I'm a diabetic. I can't buy a box of this stuff. I would sit there and eat it all and probably, whatever diabetics do, have a stroke or something, you know, go into diabetic coma or something. Usually I just get tired, but a little sample, it's a perfect amount. I get to taste it, and that's it. I show all kinds of stuff, and I enjoy doing different videos. I really do enjoy this. And when it comes to silver, I understand not everybody is going to believe in silver. There's a lot of people out there that don't believe anything is wrong in the world right now, financially. They think that everything we're being told is legit. Why would the government lie to us? They would have no reason to. Why would someone manipulate silver down? They have no reason to. Well, the biggest reason is money. Because when they manipulate it down, they're also manipulating it down with paper. And then they're buying physical. Would you rather have 1 million ounces of paper silver or 1 million ounces of real silver? That's why they do it. They are motivated. Everybody usually has a motivation, with money being probably one of the number one motivators. So this is a temp thing. and it will catch back up. And when it does, probably within the next, like I said, within the next month, but it could happen a lot sooner. I'm going to be on here laughing, and I'm going to talk about this buying opportunity that we had where it went all the way down to 47.50, which is just insane. I had a buddy of mine, hey, you still coming today? Nope. I said, not after today. There ain't nothing to really talk about. I said, I'm just letting this just settle out. Right now, the dominoes are falling. And eventually, everything is going to come back. And when it does, that's it. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm going to say one last story before I go. Well, who knows? It's always one last story, but especially with me because I just talk. But how many people remember during the cough pandemic when silver plunged all the way to $11? How many of y'all were able to pick up silver at $11? I looked. I wasn't. Nobody was selling it. Nobody was going to give it away for $11. People recognized what was going on. Once the silver price popped, everybody expected, it'd pop and just go back to $20. It didn't go back to $20, though. It went even higher because the fundamental problem was still there. And the manipulation just allowed short contracts to buy it up at $11. Or I shouldn't say short contracts. The people betting on paper silver were just able to buy paper silver at $11 and settle in cash later. But it didn't just stop at $11. It went down to 11. It jumped all the way back up to 20. It didn't stop at 20. It shot up to 29. Now, I will say 29 was kind of high for that time period because the fundamentals weren't there to push silver to 11, and then the fundamentals also weren't there during the whole cough pandemic to have silver being $29. And the reason for that was the manufacturing had fully stopped in this country and in most countries around the world. So naturally, when all the production stops, if we were going to stop making solar panels tomorrow, we were going to stop making cars tomorrow, we're going to stop making Tomahawk missiles, whatever, anything that uses, if we're going to stop making that stuff, then yeah, silver would come down because we wouldn't need as much of it. But that ain't going away. In fact, escalations are probably going to happen in different conflicts around the world. We'll probably start using more Tomahawk missiles. The world wants to go green. Excuse me. So solar panels are probably going to continue to be in high demand. I wouldn't mind buying solar panels and putting them on my new place. You know, people want to have energy efficient vehicles. I don't know why. I mean, personally, I like gas, but on the flip side of that, I understand that they're saying that we will run out of gas probably in the next, or oil in the next 50 years. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never really spent enough time to research it or even look into it. But I probably won't be around in 50 years, so that's the least of my worries. And the truth of the matter is, once something bad happens, people will be resilient. They will work through it. At that point, yeah, you got to change. They think we can change overnight to go green and go, we're going to have energy EV vehicles. We don't even have a grid that can sustain itself now in a hot summer day. A hot summer day, you get these rolling blackouts in different parts of the country. You get all kinds of crazy stuff. You have the power flicker. We're not prepared for any of that. And now look how much energy gets used just to power Bitcoin. They need to just, I don't know. I mean, there I go, talking about Bitcoin again. It's still rent-free in my mind. But like I said, I'm going to wrap it up here. I thank everybody for watching. Be sure to check out some of my other great videos. And don't panic what's happening in the market right now. We're going to probably talk about this again tomorrow because either the fall is going to continue or we're going to see a sharp rebound. And that's it. And I wouldn't be surprised just to see a little bit of a rebound and so on and so on, leading up to the Fed meeting next week. The Fed meeting comes out, and then that's it. They cut interest rates, and we see a big pop in precious metals, and we're right back where we were. So we'll see how it plays out. I thank everybody for watching. I know it was a little bit of a different video today, but I just want to make sure that people are not freaking out, panicking with what's going on right now, because it's not a big deal, really, unless you're just only got a few ounces and you just bought them. So thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys again tomorrow on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.